It wasn't a dream. It really happened.
And what's crazy is one of my commenters said this too. He said, listen, UNLV will be in the Pac-12. It's the failed athlete. That don't mean you got to fail in life. Make sure y'all like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for the notifications, all of that good stuff. The Pac-12 is officially back, and they are waiting on one school and one school only, and that's UNLV. They're attempting to get the conference at 8 teams. And where does that leave UNLV? Well, not even a week ago, they denied UNLV. They picked up Colorado State, San Diego State, Fresno State, and of course the big dog in the conference, Boise State. So that was top of the top from the Mountain West. If you add in UNLV, who was also the top of the top this past season, now of course they've had a reputation for being some straight up losers, but this past season that OC has been able to come in there and change that thing completely around. Now you got the eyes of the Pac-12 seeing how can we do business with these cats, right? We just denied them last week, but we need our numbers to get to where we can become a conference again. And you guys are a powerhouse, not for football, but for money. So we might be able to work with Vegas. The remaining teams from the original Pac-12 are Oregon State and Washington State. Now, if we know anything about the Pac-12 football, they've been amongst the bottom for the past couple of years. Shout out to Cam Ward, who was doing his thing up at Wazoo, who is now at Miami, killing it. And then you had DJU, who's at Florida State, who was last year killing it at Oregon State. So the Pac-12 on his dying leg, on his last leg, was still quarterback friendly at the end of the day. If UNLV chooses to select the Pac-12, which I'm sure they would do, it's all about the almighty dollar at the end of the day. And that was always a step up from the Mountain West. Now, of course, a lot of the teams, which I've stated from the very beginning, I've stated the Pac-12 was going to become the new Mountain West once the teams that we all know and love evaporated to different conferences. You knew that this thing was going to turn into the Mountain West Pac-12, and that's exactly what's going on. Hopefully with all the TV deals and all of the branding, we can get some stars to come out of this new Pac-12, right? We could get some new teams that's going to be on the map on the West Coast. The Mountain West was a cool conference. Don't get me wrong. A lot of dudes came up out of that conference. Remember, TCU used to be in a conference. Nevada in its heyday. Like, they've had some solid teams come up out of there. Not to mention when Boise State entered at its peak when they was having that Kellen Moore run. You know what I mean? So it's not to say that the Mountain West has not done its thing. It's just been a sister conference to the Pac. And now you got some of those little guys coming up in the big brother mode. It is what it is. But will the conference hold the same esteem? Initially, no. Of course not. It's going to take some building with this new Pac-12. The teams that people know and love are no longer there, so the interest is no longer there. They're going to have to rebuild a lot of that interest and build tradition with these new teams. It is what it is. So hopefully some of these teams that are coming in with winning pedigrees can get some shine, a lot of TV time, can get a lot of exposure, because this is big and the money talks at the end of the day. I definitely see UNLV going to the Pac, even though they were denied this past week. They must have reconsidered. After the Pac-12 saw that Kansas game, they said, God damn it, UNLV's a hotbed. We got to get them in the mix. We got to get them in the mix of this new Pac-12. It is what it is. Where does this leave the Mountain West? Where does this leave the Air Forces and all of these other guys? You know, they've been in talks with the Atlantic Coast. I was about to say the ACC, the American Conference, which makes sense for Air Force to be up in there, right? And all of those other teams. You got San Jose State looking for a new home. You got these different squads looking for a new home. What are they going to do? Where are they going to disperse to when there is no Mountain West? The New Mexicos, will they drop down a division? Lord knows they've been horrible, right? Will they join New Mexico State down there in the WAC? Does the WAC still exist? Shout out to the WAC. What happens to Hawaii at this point? What does Hawaii do? I know they've been in that same conference. They've been playing against Mountain West teams. So what do they What happens to them now as far as football? So many questions about this new Pac-12. So many questions about these new developments going on with the Mountain West. I don't see the Mountain West surviving. I just don't see them surviving. They've been able to live off that little guy. They've been able to live off that little guy team who was able to make big noise. And it just seems like the teams that they will be replacing the little guys with aren't big enough to get the job done. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's the Failed Athlete. That don't mean you got a fail in life. Let's go.